Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. I just got finished watching this week's Damien. So, I don't think it was quite as interesting as last week, but this episode still had a lot of things going on. Um, it started off with in the sewer, and Simone is looking in the sewers with the nun to look for that knife that was lost in one of the previous episodes, and I found it interesting that the rat was down in the sewer with all the other rats, and you know, I thought it was creepy because if I was that close to a rat, I'd be freaking out. But like I've mentioned before in my other recaps, I don't like Simone and I don't trust her. And I think the nun and Simone are up to no good. So Damien is also going to his therapy sessions, as we saw in the previous episodes that tried to take a lethal dose of morphine. So the he's having his normal sessions, and he's talking about him thinking he's the Antichrist, and I found it a little bit humorous when the therapist wrote Antichrist delusional. I'm like, had to chuckle a little bit there. Um, Officer Shea is still trying to catch Damien in the act, and even his superiors like getting really frustrated with him. He really wants him, to like bring this guy in already, or like close this case. And we see that when Damien goes home, there's this package, a small package at the door, and I at first thought it was from Anne Rutledge to, like I guess a peace offering or something, but when he picks it up, there's like blood at the bottom of it. I'm like, just doesn't seem like something Anne would leave at the doorstep. So I'm wondering, what in the world this is. And he takes it in, he opens it, and it's the tongue that Powell cut out of the guy from last week. And I knew it was a tongue, but then I started to second guess myself. I wasn't sure that was it. And Damien, inspects it and cuts it open, and he sees this roll of film. I'm like, oh, wow, this is interesting. So Officer Shade comes in, and, he does his usual interrogation with Damien, and he tells Damien that, he spoke to Powell and the other guy, and he gives him, I guess, the pictures of the now deceased guy. And Anne, we saw last week, she tried to, well, she didn't try to use the knife herself. She asked Damien, is this what you really want? And here she tried to have the knife destroyed for him. And this, I assume it's a welder guy, he tried to destroy it, and he couldn't do it. And Anne walks away really disappointed, and, I think that scene really showed how loyal she is to Damien, and how she wants to protect him, and how she really is there to serve the Antichrist. With his friend Amani, his house was broken into, and he finds out that the person that was breaking into his house is Anne's daughter, Veronica. And we got to see a little bit more of Veronica in this episode, which I liked because, we haven't really got too much into her story at all. But Amani is really ticked that she did this, and he confronts Veronica, and he knows that she's the daughter of Anne Rutledge, and she says that she was basically using him to dig up dirt, but what they have is real. And I thought, aw, she's digging up dirt. Mommy must be so proud. But then she reveals what Anne did, how she hired two men to do some quote-unquote housekeeping, and then when Damien was in the hospital, she had Veronica go clean it up. So now I'm kind of wondering how's Anne going to react to that. So Damien actually goes to confront Powell, and we find out that Powell's been killing people for Damien, not because Damien told him to, but Powell's been doing it, I guess, to show his allegiance to Damien, and he kind of he like has an obsession with him. Like he thinks like he's this hero, and then all of a sudden he says, "So who should we kill next?" It's like he was saying, "Oh, now that we got this out in the open, who are we gonna kill next, Damien?" Like, and Damien starts beating him, and the look on Damien's face really looked devious. Like it was scary to look at him, and I firmly believe I've mentioned this before, how many times too, but I believe that they want Damien to kill because then it will let the darkness consume him, and then he'll start to embrace his destiny and see his potential. So Shay's partner is getting sick of how Shay is obsessed with this case and how it's starting to affect his son too. Shay tried to, I don't think he tried to follow Damien. He tried to go in his apartment, and his car caught on fire, and he managed to escape from that. Like, I don't know how he managed to escape all these things, with the dog trying to maul him and the car blowing up. And his son at home, who almost drowned in the pool, he was coloring, and the cars were in flames. I'm like, how does this kid know this? And the dad's like stunned by it too. And he gets a call, which we don't know who that's from, and he goes to where Powell is, and he brings him into the station. Damien then develops the roll of film, and there's this like secret message in there. I'm not exactly, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like remember or something. But Veronica goes and reports back to Anne and tells Anne that Amani knows that she's her daughter, and she that he mentioned something about a nun, and Anne wants Veronica to take care of the nun and not to show any more carelessness. So Veronica does go out to get the nun, and meanwhile, before that even happens, Simone and the nun are like collaborating. The nuns, like Simone's like questioning the nun, saying like how did you guys not, get him? Why did it take you like 25 years to try to kill the Antichrist? And she even confronts her and says, "Are you an assassin?" And she says no, and said the church handles things quietly. So I even think I looked away for a split second because I didn't see Veronica enter the church, but Simone didn't leave, and she follows Veronica up. I'm like, oh my god, Simone, just leave already. Simone's character is just so annoying to me. And sure enough, Veronica holds the nun at gunpoint, and the gun goes off and it accidentally hits Veronica. And I'm like, oh my god, did the nun kill her? I'm like, what is Anne gonna do? How's Anne gonna react? There's definitely gonna be some, retaliation. Amani then goes to visit Damien, and he apologizes to Damien and says that, that he believes him and that he was right all along, and he's there for him up until the end. And it definitely showed Amani's loyalty to Damien. It definitely showed that he is a true friend. And back at the police station, you see Powell's in the, I guess you call it the interrogation room, and Damien's therapist comes in, and you know, you think that maybe she's like a court-appointed therapist or something, but she starts egging him on, saying that Damien Damien wanted you dead because Damien did admit to the therapist that he wanted Pal dead, and he could feel it in him that he wanted him gone, but he chose not to. But anyway, the therapist kept telling him that Damien doesn't love him, and Pal's like in disbelief and everything. And then all of a sudden, the therapist who's been clicking this pen all the time like stabs him in the neck with this pen, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like that was like really unexpected. Like I didn't. That was so surprising to me. And then Shay comes in and shoots the therapist, and now Pal and the therapist are both dead. And when Shay goes to look at her notepad, it says, I think wisdom is here. So I definitely thought that was a great twist. It was the therapist then a follower. It shows the previews for next week that Veronica is alive, but it seems like the nun has her, so I don't know if she's like holding her ransom or what, but I'm wondering how Anne will react, because she seems to favor Damien over Veronica, and I think even Veronica even pointed out that, you know, her mom kind of favors Damien because he's extraordinary and she's just ordinary. So I'm wondering if Anne's gonna come to the rescue at all, and I'm wondering how Damien's going to react that when he finds out that Pal's dead and that his therapist is now dead and that she was in on it. I definitely think that this is an interesting show. It's definitely more than I expected, and more. If you guys haven't seen Damien yet, I definitely recommend it. If you want to catch Damien, it is on Mondays, 10 p.m. on A&E. I hope you guys enjoyed this Damien recap, and hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Damien. Like, subscribe, and remember, stay regal, and it's all for you.